What's all right. Okay, I'm going to talk about what is the most deadliest weapon in the martial arts. So, in the martial arts, or in a realistic situation, which one of those weapons, can do the most damage or is the most efficient to use, the best one to use. Okay, now I'm gonna try to be realistic as I can now for real life situations. I'm talking about on the street now, you don't know what's gonna happen. Best weapon you can use. Well, in reality, best weapon is no weapon. It's not to do nothing. It's try to avoid it. That's the first thing. But there's sometimes you can't avoid everything. So, best weapon is a gun. And believe it or not, the gun is the best thing you can use. The gun is a weapon, and just like you have the samurai sword, nunchucks, kamas, bow staff, the gun to me is part of martial arts too. So unfortunately, I don't really, me personally, I'm not really into guns. So, what I'm saying, it's not something I jump to if I have to, like, oh, I'm gonna go get a gun and start shooting. I think it's the gun thing is, it's kind of like cheating. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you put the bullets in, it's like anybody can take a gun. It doesn't take to be a skilled shooter and an accurate shooter. It takes skills. Okay, you have to train it just like you train your martial art weapons. You have to go to the range or you go out in the forest or the woods and you practice shooting. Get your accuracy, get your timing. Practice your range and everything like that. You have to train right to be a proficient shooter, just like the weapons. But anybody can still take a gun and just wave it around and shoot. And, most likely they can shoot the person they're trying to shoot. Depends on if it's far range or close range. So it doesn't really take, much skills to just grab a gun and shoot. So that's why I say it's kind of like cheating in a way, because, once you have the gun, you can just pull the trigger and bam, and that's it. And it depends on the range you're in and how far you are, the distance you are. The chances is not too good, if for say you're trying to fight bare hands or you're trying to fight with a sword or nunchucks. It also depends on the person too that's using the gun. As I said, if it's a skilled shooter, like you're skilled in your samurai sword or your nunchucks, and he's a skilled shooter, like his accuracy is just good. Like he's excellent on it, and he knows how to how to move the gun back and forward in a way where the bullets can travel. And you have some problems, you'll be in serious issues, serious problems. So that's why I said the gun is the number one weapon out there, and you can even conceal it too. It's a serious thing, the gun thing is not something to joke with. You know what I'm saying? Even training with the gun too is a serious thing too, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can't even shoot your own self and kill yourself. So you have to know what you're doing when you even have a gun, and how to even carry the gun, and how to conceal it also, because sometimes you can end up even shooting your own self in the foot. So you have to know, where to put the gun to, because if you have little kids around, and what I'm saying, it's like something where it's very dangerous weapon, very dangerous, beats over everything. It's realistically speaking, it's the number one thing. It's the number one weapon out there. Serious thing. I mean, if I was in a fantasy world, and there's always on like La La Land, like, oh, you just need a samurai sword and nunchucks. You can hit the gun out the hand. You can kick the gun out the hand. I am a realistic person. I try to do everything realistically. You know what I'm saying? I don't try to like make people believe, like, oh, this is the way, and this is, when it comes to the street, it's only gonna be that way, and that's how it's gonna be. It ain't gonna be nothing else than what is out there. If a man draw a gun and him start shooting, no matter how much martial arts you know and how much weapons you know, and the guy is doesn't even have to be a good shooter, and you start shooting, you be in problems, serious problems. That's like your life flash in front of your eye. That's it. So always know what's realistic and what's not, what's fantasy and what's realistic. Make sure you know that when you're training martial arts to know the difference. And when you are training, to know that, hey, I'm doing these techniques, I'm doing these katas, and you know that some of these things you're doing it for your own spiritual, mental reasons, and to strengthen your body, harden your body. And sure, the techniques can work certain situations, and certain, it depends on who you're fighting and who's out there and the streets. You never know who you're gonna fight and whoever. So it's something that you can't predict. You can't choreograph it. No, it's not an action movie. So you have to know what's fantasy and what's realistic. What's real and what's fantasy, man. Because a lot of these people, seem to forget. Like, a lot of the sports, the MMA, a lot of the competition things, people think that, oh man, you just need cage fighting and you can be a badass. No, because usually on the street it's not gonna be like that. You're not gonna be in a cage fighting, and you don't know who you're fighting, and there's no referee, and you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know. It's not prearranged. It's not choreographed. There's no weigh-in. There's no pat down. Make sure you have weapons. There's no cup. There's no mouthpiece. There's nothing. So you don't know what you're getting yourself into. So that's what I tell you, man. You got no fantasy and real, man. What's real and what's fantasy, man. So yeah, man. So there you go. So the gun win over, man. Gun is number one tool. So it's good to practice gun too. If you can, get a gun. You can go to the range and practice. Make sure that you practice safely. Keep on kicking. Keep on training. Check out WayneGichie.com. Subscribe to my channel. Rate, comment, and what's